Good evening, and welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the Mayor and Council. Today is Monday, April 16th, 2018. We'll start off this evening's meeting with the reading of the Open Public Meetings Act. I hereby announce and request that such be included in the minutes of this meeting, that notice of the time, date, and place of the meeting has been prominently posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, mailed to the Times, the Star Ledger, the Courier News, and Alternative Press by January 10th, 2018, filed with the Borough Clerk, and mailed to any person requesting the same in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. May we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would ask that you remain standing, and we will have a moment of silence for your own intentions. Thank you. Mrs. McGovern, may we have a roll call, please?
Anthony Connor.
Present.
Justin Hugo.
Present.
Jim Kranz.
Here.
Erin Michael
Here.
Catherine Mitchell.
Here.
Jack Molyneux.
Here.
Colleen Moore.
Here. We will begin with the review and approval of several minutes of meetings that the council has met. The first will be from March 19th, 2018. Second will be a special meeting of March 11th, 2018, and then we have a special meeting on April 2nd, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is several appointments to our various boards and commissions. And first I want to thank the residents who answered our request for individuals to step forward, since we had several vacancies and openings on some of our boards and commissions. So I will move an appointment to the planning board for Amy Lumpkin as a planning board alternate with a term to expire 12/31/2018. May I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to have a motion on Regina Mercado, who stepped forward to serve now on our Recreation Commission. She's a brand new member with a term set to expire December 31st, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'd like to welcome Sarah Johnston, also to the Recreation Commission as an alternate third member, with the term set to expire December 31st, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would like to also make a motion to move Damian Boroff to the Recreation Commission as an alternate one, with the term set to expire December 31st, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we want to move up Elsie Biasi, who I believe is on the commission as an alternate, will be now moving up to a full member, a full commissioner with a term set to expire December 31st, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, we welcome that. We're going to go over to the podium as we do at the beginning of each of our meetings to give our presentations and our proclamations. Good evening again. Good evening to everyone that is here. I'd like to welcome everybody that is watching us from home, and welcome in spring, even though this morning was torrential downpours of rain and flooding and bitter cold and terrible snowstorm since we've last met, but spring is definitely around the corner. What we'd like to do right now is draw a little attention to our volunteer of the month. And for that, I would like to please call up Hermione Hendren, please. Hi. So Hermione is our volunteer of the month. And when we asked Hermione to tell us a little bit about herself, she said that she's been in Fanwood for her entire life. So we want to welcome you and say thank you. She's a high school student at the Magnet School, and in 2017 she volunteered at the training wheel toss. And I believe you also brought some friends with you when you did that. She's also volunteered at the Halloween costume contest, the holiday celebration. She also attends all of our town-wide events and actually attends meetings. She plays soccer since she's been a child, the Scotch Plains Fanwood travel team, and now she plays for the JV soccer team. And she's been an assistant coach for Fanwood Recreation Soccer Team for 5th grades. She really has a passion for getting involved with clubs and student government and the student movement against cancer. But she's here tonight because when we were looking for volunteers that step forward in our community, we saw Hermione's really presence and everything that she does for the Recreation Commission. So we wanted to publicly just say thank you.
Thank you.
You know, and that you act as a role model for all of our town's young people who can find the time to go to school and play sports and get involved and give back at a very young age. So we really want to say congratulations, and we have a little something for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So this is our... I'll say a few words, please.
So I got involved last year, and Mr. Gudayinsky actually introduced me to the program. And from my first event, I loved it. I loved helping with the kids. I loved helping to interact with the town. And then from then on, my passion only grew. And I hope to be more involved in the future.
Well, congratulations. For Autism Awareness Month, April is Autism Awareness Month, and in Fanwood we actually just came off of a big celebration in LeGrand Park called Rockin' for Autism, and it was held on Saturday. And it was a beautiful, warm day where the Banks family, who basically leads that event for us, and we partnered with the Scotch Plains Fanwood Youth Baseball Association to have a day-long music festival and food trucks and actually educate people about autism. And we thought it would be fitting if we actually brought forward today Scott Matthews. Scott Matthews runs Intensive Therapeutics, which is based here in Fanwood, and has really been a partner in Fanwood on the government side, on the social side, and for families, and does such unbelievably good work here in our community that we thought, you know, we've done grant work together, we've done programs together, which he's going to talk a little bit about, but we thought it would be very fitting if Scott had an opportunity to really talk about autism, what autism awareness is all about, and the great strides. And I think you have someone that's here too. You want to
introduce?
Yeah.
Come on
forward. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Marr. Thank you, council members. My name is Scott Matthews. I'm the Executive Director of Intensive Therapeutics. April is National Autism Month. I would think most parents and of children with autism would say every month is Autism Month. We have been in Fanwood since 2010 on 274 South Avenue, right across the street from the post office. We're a nonprofit 501c3 organization. I'm an occupational therapist, and we provide therapy services to kids with special needs, and we have a strong program here in Fanwood through the Recreational Opportunities for Individuals with Disabilities grant that the town has written to the state, and we are basically the providers of the services from that grant. So Mayor Marr, Eleanor, has helped us out a lot to get that going. And we started I started here in 2010. A gentleman from Fanwood approached me at the time. He was with the Fanwood Youth Organization Baseball League. And he had this idea. He had a son that with special needs and wanted to start a baseball program. We started that back in 2010, and the idea is to create programs for children with autism for inclusive purposes, to use the ball fields, to use the parks, to be on the teams of the community, and play the sports, participate in the recreation opportunities, recreation programs, so they have opportunities like anybody else does. There was a missing piece in that, everybody wants inclusion, but there was a hard leap to go from their house to actually participating in the programs. And that's where we came in, where we created training, practice, repeated practice to learn the skills of the sport, be it baseball, soccer, basketball, bike riding, and I'll get to tennis here in a second. So the Royd Grant, we started, the first one was in 2013, which covered May of 2012 to July of 2013, and we started with one sport. It was the baseball program. We collaborated with the Scotch Plains Fanwood Baseball League. At that time, it changed from Fanwood Youth to Scotch Plains Fanwood. And again, the idea was to bring the costs down of services for children with autism, so to level the playing field. So the costs were comparable to what you would pay for Little League or any other rec programs. Play on the fields, which again has been a really nice feature, to play on your town fields, use your buildings, and use your parks. By definition, to me, that's inclusive. But the kids who played needed to learn the skills of the sport. They needed to know how to get in line to throw a ball back and forth in practice. They needed to know first base was that way, not that way. They needed to be able to throw to their friends, and how do you set those things up. So my experiences, along with coaches, actual coaches of the sport, and then the actual players in the leagues, right, the kids in the leagues, helped us create the baseball program. And I'm not a baseball player, I'm not a soccer player, but I know how to work with kids with special needs. So to find people in your community that know the sport was advantageous to me, advantageous to these kids, and together we created these awesome programs where the kids would actually learn the sport and play the game. So the money from the Royd Grant helps us bring down the costs. So they're comparable to what everybody's paying for. I always sort of pick on Little League, for what people are paying for Little League or basketball programs, that type of thing. The costs to families of children with autism are huge, and to bring the costs down and pay what everybody else would be paying was an important feature of the program. And we've received, or I should say, Fanwood has received the grant for, this would be our 4th year. And so every year we've added another sport. We started with baseball, we did soccer, we added bike riding, we added basketball, we have teen night at the Forest Road building every month. It's an awesome time. You're welcome to go visit if you want, Forest Road building. I think it's once a month, this Friday. 40 teenagers with autism show up, and high school kids are peer mentors in the program. They come up with the ideas, they coordinate it. We, again, get involved to set it up so it's structured correctly, successful, and if anybody's overstimulated, to kind of keep it all even keel. So that's been going on for a long time. The funny part about it, over 6-7 years of that going, all the 13-year-olds are now 19, and so we're actually considering starting an older young adult program to still keep going the social skills, the fun, and keep the teen night just teenagers. So that brings me around to this gentleman here, Nermit Damanya. When he was a sophomore at Scotch Plains Fanwood High School, out of the blue, he emailed me, he came to my office in Fanwood. He's a tennis player. Sorry, he's a tennis player on the high school team. He wanted to start a special needs program for tennis. Again, I'm not a tennis player. I need tennis people. I need to know people how to play. I need people who know how to play the game. He was a sophomore in high school, and We put in a lot of work to plan the tennis program. Last year we started it. We play at Forest Road tennis courts. They're a little tough at times, but they're a perfect court. They're 2 courts, they're fenced in, so we can, we kind of have it to ourselves. When they're not flooded, it works really well. And I don't say that to be like really funny, like it does. It really works well for what we need. It's contained, and we can run a really tight program. And so last year we started it. It went really well. Nermit and his fellow teammates on Scotch Plains Fanwood High School lead. They show the kids how to play, and again, we just step in case kids are having a tough time. I love this guy. I wish when I was doing this stuff when I was in high school. Now he's a senior. And he's graduating, and I really think Nermit deserves a round of applause for his work, his efforts. All teams should be like this. He's volunteering his time. He has practice on Saturdays. We just started the current session of tennis yesterday, which the weather had flip-flopped for that. Again, I couldn't tell you how happy I am to continue these services, expand the program from the Royd Grant and the coordination with Fanwood. The town of Fanwood has been so well received of our programs, and that's the point. We get out there with kids with autism, and I must say, I know it's Autism Month, but we see kids with all disabilities. And so it's my job to make the activity fit the kids. So we see kids with developmental disabilities, physical disabilities, but again, by far the majority are children with autism, and for them to play together, to work together and participate in your town, in the sports, and again, the ones that are good, the ones that enjoy the sport can move on to actually join the leagues. So that's our goal, that's what we've accomplished. We're up to 5 sports now for this period of the Royd Grant. And again, we're at Forest Road Park, we're at Forest Road Building, the tennis courts, and I want to thank you once again for the hospitality of the town and what you've helped us accomplish. And it's not me, it's guys like this and all of us together that will help with helping families with autism. Thank you very much.
So I'll just say this in closing. If you ever need a really good example of what government can do with the community and with the nonprofit community, the grants are made possible through the state of New Jersey, and they're for municipalities. So they call them ROID, as you had, and the acronym is Recreational Opportunities with Individuals with Disabilities. And it really has been, I think, Mrs. McGovern and my pleasure each year to work with Scott to figure out how we can enhance this, because they are in competitive grants, and they want to see you do something different each year. They want to see you build on the success that they help fund, and so they're looking for how you're really raising the bar or opening up these opportunities for people in our communities. And it's one of the things that I'm very proud that the Borough Council and myself and our professionals really take the time and stick with it year after year after year. And it is because of individuals like yourself and our Volunteer of the Month. It's the young people, which is the future for us. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, where are we? Clean Communities Day, Jack. You want to skip over that? Let's skip over that.
You're on a roll.
I was on a roll.
Lynn?
Yes.
Come on, Lynn. So coming up is Clean Community Day, as you know, Lynn. So we have a proclamation which I'm going to read its record and then present to you. And then if you could tell us more about it afterwards, that'd be great. So whereas the Borough of Fanwood recognizes the necessity for a clean community by participating in a program sponsored by the New Jersey State Department of Environmental Protection to help educate citizens in controlling litter in the borough. And whereas the borough participates in an Earth Day program through the borough's annual Clean Community Day, which is this Saturday, yes, April 21st. And whereas this year we'll be participating in Fanwood's 29th Earth Day Clean Community, we're almost really old with this program. Okay. With concerned residents of Fanwood and neighboring communities to reflect our commitment and to resolve to create a safer, cleaner, and more livable community. And whereas the Fanwood Clean Community Committee, consisting of Clint Dixon, Bob McCarthy, Harry McNally, Lynn, and Margaret Chowdhury, organize and implement a clean community program to pick up litter in the borough and to encourage positive behaviors toward community improvement. And whereas concerned citizens, in cooperation with the Public Works Department and the Clean Community Committee, enthusiastically pick up, shovel, and haul litter by environmentally unconcerned citizens. Okay, so the good ones are there on Saturday, the bad ones are there throughout the year. So we want to get good people there all year round, not just on Saturday. I think our goal is so we have nothing to do on Clean Community. Well, if we do everything right, we won't have to have a Clean Community Day because it will always be clean. But whereas the governing body recognizes the efforts of these dedicated citizens who formed an alliance to become stewards of the environment, whose efforts reduce waste, increase recycling, educate our leaders of tomorrow, and beautify Fanwood, now therefore Colleen Marr, the mayor of Fanwood, does hereby proclaim April 21st as Clean Community Day. In the borough of Fanwood, to publicly thank the volunteers, especially those that return year after year to fight the deterioration of the environment, the donors who support this worthwhile event, and ask the citizens of this community to join the governing body in acknowledging the contributions of these committed citizens working for the benefit of others. Nothing is more powerful than the collaborative actions of the community. Thank you, Lynn.
All right, thank you.
Tell us more about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Moore, Council, for your time tonight. As in the proclamation, the Clean Communities Day is this coming Saturday, April 21st. We meet down, as we do every year, down by the south side of the train station. We begin there. There's bagels donated by the bagel shop. There's coffee donated by the Dunkin' Donuts. And we have our DPW also providing T-shirts and giveaways and actual equipment to haul all the garbage. And then we disperse and we go about to various areas within Fanwood in groups. We have it all, organized in groups. We, encourage all of you to get your friends out, your family, and join us for the day. Again, we're in our 29th year, and we hope to see you out there.
What color is the T-shirt this year?
That's the burning question. I believe it's navy with heather writing.
And what time should everyone be there again?
Everybody should be there around 8:30. Get things kicked off. And hope for good weather. I believe it's supposed to be sunny and 60 years old.
Oh, right. It's the 29th year, right?
29th year.
Yes. So we're still young.
Yes, we are.
Thank
And
you.
we're still hauling away a lot of trash.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The Clean Communities Committee is made up of all volunteers in town, and it is led by Clint Dixon, our Public Works Committee, and he puts together a group of individuals each year. I think it's 29 years of us doing that, and the community also speaks volumes of what type of community we are, which I think is a really great segue into our last resolution, which is an anniversary that we are celebrating of an organization that really does some unbelievably good, rewarding work, and does it with great dignity and respect for a large group of our population, and that is, it's the 50th anniversary of the Mobile Meals of Westfield. And we have two individuals here tonight that will be receiving the resolution that I'd like to call forward. Nancy is the president of the trustees, and Josephine Walsh is the operations manager of the Mobile Meals of Westfield. Please give them a nice round of applause. So the resolution really draws attention and acknowledges 50 years, which is another nonprofit organization that's celebrating their 50th anniversary. And it was founded in 1968 as a pilot program for the Visiting Homemaker Association of Central Union County and a few women from the First Baptist Church in Westfield. And where since 1974 it provides hot or cold healthy meals at reasonable prices without an income restriction on a temporary or permanent basis. because of age, disability, or illness to residents of Fanwood and our surrounding communities who find it difficult to provide the service for themselves. And whereas it's supported by social service organizations, members, and the Westfield United Fund to provide meals for customers coming from all walks of life and financial situations. Now, therefore, I, the Mayor of Fanwood, Colleen Marr, along with the Borough Council, we recognize the dedication of the volunteers who contribute their time and energy to provide this service. And we want to thank them for the 50 years of service that they have in preparing and delivering meals to individuals, and we wish them all the best of luck, just not today, but for another 50 years of good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Marr and the council. Pretty much as the resolution says, we are an organization that serves the elderly and the homebound, pretty much in Scotch Plains, Fanwood, Westfield, Clark, Mountainside, Cranford, and Garwood. We provide a hot meal. So we're very similar to Meals on Wheels in the sense that we're serving the elderly and the homebound. The difference is that we're not federally funded. Pretty much receive donations from organizations. As clients do, we pay a small fee, but we do not turn anyone away if the need is there. And besides the hot meal, we provide a daily check-in with them. Some of these clients don't have any family close by or don't have any family at all. And it's kind of a way of having a human contact, and a lot of volunteers become very close with them, which is a very big thing for them when they're home and can't get anywhere. We have our volunteers, which are a great support to us, that are packers and drivers, and we depend on them too. So, and I think that's it. Yes, thank you. Anything else too? Please.
I think you've said everything, we've covered it all, except in 2014, we served our 1 millionth meal.
Oh,
So we're working on that 2 million. But we thank you all for this, and it's our pleasure to do this. It's a good thing.
It's a great thing, and it really is the unsung, work that you do. That really kind of flies under the radar for so many of us that get up and go about our own lives and don't realize how many people, like you said, touch, and it's just not a meal, it's friendship,
Right.
it's
Yes,
fellowship,
yes.
it's checking in, making sure that they're okay mentally and physically.
Yes, yeah.
So thank you
Thank you,
very much.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you. Yeah, they're not here, so you can just read it.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my pleasure to read the Shovelin Mattress Factory April 2018 resolution. Whereas Shovelin Mattress Factory, a family-owned business in Fanwood since 2005, is being honored by the Greater Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce as a Business Leader of the Year at their 70th Anniversary Gala on April 19th, 2018. And whereas a Business Leader of the Year is a prestigious award that recognizes businesses who are concerned with producing a product and experience that will benefit the general public. And whereas Shovelin Mattress Factory produces its own quality mattresses that last longer than others and improves the health and welfare of its customers. Now therefore, be it resolved, the Mayor and Council, the Borough of Fanwood recognize the contributions of Ron Shovelin of Shovelin Mattress Factory has given to the Fanwood community, are proud to have their business, indeed we are, as part of Fanwood's commercial district, join the Greater Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce in honoring Ron Shovelin and wish him continued success in all future endeavors. Be it further resolved that this message be a part of the minutes of the council meeting of April 16, 2018, so that all who follow will know that Shovelin Mattress Factory won this respected award, and we are proud to have them as part of our business community.
Yeah, they really do good work, and they actually produce an American-made product, and they're being recognized on Thursday night as the Business of the Year from the Westfield Area Chamber of Commerce, and we're very lucky to have such a proactive local business in town. He always opens up his doors for their meetings, and he's always been very helpful with anything that goes on in the community, so our hats go off to him and his family. Okay, what else we got? Is that it? I think that's it, right?
I think we have other things on our agenda.
Okay, so next we'll move, we have one piece of correspondence, which is from Elizabethtown Gas. And they have been, they're in the process of being,
They're not getting an honor?
no, this is not. Okay, they're going to be acquired. So we have a note and file on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and a bit more. Councilman Clance, you have your administration and finance report, please.
I do. We begin with the tax collector's report for March. For the month of March, we collected $96,514.04 for a year-to-date total of $7,117,056.95.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Two other things. Do this first. So, in a few minutes after a public hearing, we're going to take a vote on establishing our sewer utility, something very important for the future of our, out of sight, out of mind, but we need to bring them into our sewer system. I also wanted to just acknowledge that the third annual Rockin' for Autism Fair over the weekend was tremendous. It was the one day of the weekend where it didn't rain or wind or it was under 40 degrees. It was a perfect day. We had a great turnout. And hats off to the entire Banks family. Jeff and Gina Banks, the mom and dad there, they basically obsess over this event for the entire year, along with everything else that they do in their lives. 16-year-old Mallory is their daughter, who really came up with this idea when she was 9 to raise money by selling pastries for her brother Ethan, who has autism. And it's grown over the years to this very large event with multiple sponsors. They're hoping to break their $13,000 fundraising mark, which is what they hit last year. And we hope to know what that total is very soon. And when we find that out, maybe we can invite them back here and acknowledge them again. And I wanted to do a hats off to the rescue squad. Several days ago, we had a gentleman on Poplar Place who called 911 because he was suffering chest pain. The rescue squad got there very quickly. In the process of them moving him out into the ambulance, he went unresponsive and he went into cardiac arrest basically in his driveway. They did CPR, they shocked him several times, the paramedics came, they got his pulse back, and then they lost it again in the ambulance. But by the time they got him to the hospital, he was breathing on his own, and that counts as a save for those guys. And every time that happens, that's why I got into the business, and just hats off to those guys.
Wow.
I was Squad President Ed Windsor and EMT Nick Trippidy and the medics from, I think, JFK. So
When did this happen?
what's today, Monday? Maybe...
Friday the 13th.
Maybe, was it Friday?
Yes.
Friday the 13th.
And I understand we just had a public safety meeting and he's probably coming home very soon.
Yeah, he came right back, and
Right.
he happens to be a neighbor of mine, and I'm really glad that he's doing well. So that is my report.
We have a flag here of something like that.
Oh, we do?
Yeah,
What do we
for
have?
special circumstances.
Okay, cool.
Oh, that would be nice. All
We
right.
could do that maybe in May for EMS month. What a brilliant idea, huh?
I like it. Councilman Carter, public safety?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Some memorandum from the Fanwood Police Department.
Can you just use the mic,
Use
please?
the microphone for you. No, the one to your left probably is.
Use them
Use them
both.
both.
Use them both.
We'll get a teleprompter for you as well.
Hello. So this is our memorandum from the Fanwood Police Department monthly report for March 2018. The total calls for police assistance through our CAD system, 1,332. Total calls for police assistance through our 911 terminal, 15. Motor vehicle stops for various violations, 466. Total summonses issued, 407. Motor vehicle moving violation summonses, 137. Non-moving violations, 207. Parking summonses, 63. And DWI, 0. Total adult arrest, 9. Arrest on warrants, 9. Total juvenile arrest, 0. The total crimes reported, 11. Thefts and larceny, 1. Fraud, there were 3. Disorderly persons, 5. Criminal mischief, 1. And harassment, 1. And that concludes our report for the month of March 2018. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Molitor?
Okay, I'll stick on the public safety theme since I'm the liaison to the fire department. In March, they had 97 calls, 73 of which were storm calls. Go figure. 2 motor vehicle accidents. 1 was with an extraction. They responded to 1 house fire in Scotch Plains, mutual aid, and they had no injuries for the month. So that's always a good thing. It's been and also with Public Works, it's been a busy March for anyone in fire and rescue and Public Works. So with that, Public Works had a total of 50 man-hours of time of de-icing and snow removal. That was for after the 3rd nor'easter on March 20th and 21st. A whole bunch of more hours for de-icing and snow removal on borough streets for April 2nd. So yeah, they've been busy. And as all of you know, they've been very busy, but I'm going to read a little bit more in depth of what's going on with brush and leaf, but just a couple other things they did besides deal with snow and ice and branches. They also helped prepare Forest Road Park for the annual Easter egg hunt, which was delayed 1 weekend, but they still got it in. They also helped out with the St. Bart's 5K. They picked up and returned the barricades for that, and they also helped out with assistance for the Rockin' for Autism event at LeGrand Park. So these are things that they do besides all the other stuff. Now, the other things I'm just going to read verbatim where we are right now. 90% of the in-house pruning operations by the department have been completed. All others that are too high or contracted out, and they're about 95% complete. The department has completed more than 2/3 of the brush pickup from the nor'easters. A small section of the southeast and southwest quadrants remain, and it's anticipated that the first round of storm-related brush pickup will be completed by this week. Leaf pickup has been ongoing during the brush pickup. However, leaves will be picked up separately in conjunction with the final round of brush pickup, anticipated to begin next week. It's also anticipated that both leaf and brush pickups will be completed by the end of this month in accordance with the dates in the 2018 work schedule. And the cleanup of branches, fallen trees and branches at Barrow Hall, LeGrand, and Forest Road Parks has been completed.
Is that all weather permitting?
Yes, yes. It's all weather permitting. And the amount of recyclable tons that Fanwood has was 31.38 tons of recyclables was for March 22nd, and 26.67 tons for April 5th. Subtotal for 2018 is 190 tons. And that concludes my public works report.
Okay. Councilman Ugel?
Thank you. There was, historic preservation meeting was canceled in March, so. But I went anyway, and I got to talk to Joe Nagy. So, and actually, we were there at the train station, and Joe Nagy had all these photographs from 1976, the bicentennial, when all the fire hydrants were painted. So those are at the Fanwood Museum, so if anybody wants to go and see the bicentennial pics of the fire hydrants. So, but yeah, there was no actual meeting. But I know from all the emails going back and forth, they're continuing to work hard on the photo swap, which is still planned for the fall.
Sure. Councilwoman Mitchell?
Thank you, Mayor. First report is about the library. They
Excuse
are
me,
still, oh, sorry. First report is the library, and they are still waiting for the application for the grant process. The last they heard, it probably is not going to happen until probably the end of the summer, early fall. You all received in the mail this brochure from the Friends of the Library. They are looking for 100 friends this year, so hopefully you will give some thought as to whether or not you want to join the Friends of the Library. The Friends are responsible for all of the extra activities that go on at the library. And on May 9th, our own published book person will, by the name of Councilman Tom Krantz, will be there talking about his newly published book. So why don't you go on over on May 9th? And he will tell you all about, I guess, what inspired him, where his thought process came from. I don't know what he's going to talk about, but he's going to talk about his book.
Keep going, that sounds good.
Sounds good.
Hey, write these things down.
You need some help.
I'm gonna have to remember that later.
Rescue Squad, I have a report here from the Captain Patty Buckery. For the month of March, there were 86 calls, 22 for sick persons, falls 18, respiratory, cardiac, or stroke 18, motor vehicle or trauma 11, psych 11, fire rehab 2, other 2, cardiac arrest 1, and standby 1. Most of their trips were made to Overlook Hospital. Basic life support was 28, and advanced life support 5. Let me see. They needed to use oxygen 14 times. And let me see what else we have here. They helped out Scotch Plains 33 times and Union once. And that pretty much is the report for the rescue squad. Let me see. Shade Tree will be celebrating Arbor Day on Friday the 24th at the Carriage House Park, which is right across the street here on Lutton Road,
Wait,
at 4 o'clock.
Wait, the 24th is not a Friday.
27th.
That's.
Sorry, 27th. Whatever that Friday is, the 27th.
Well,
And they will be teaching us how to mulch trees. The Park Middle School will be giving a presentation. They always do. I don't know what it's going to be on this year. And this year they also did a poetry contest, and they do have a winner. I have spoken to our poet laureate, Adele Kenny, and there is a winner. They will also be giving out certificates of appreciation for the funniest poem, for someone here in town also who I guess really didn't qualify because he's on the Shade Tree Commission. But anyway, it's always a fun day. The weather is usually always very, very nice. So, and speaking of the poetry contest, some of the poems came from as far away as California, because I was one of the ones who was picking them up and delivering them to Adele. So this is a countrywide endeavor.
what was the prize?
Pardon?
What was the prize?
The prize is monetary.
You could get published in that poetry magazine also.
Yes,
the name of
yeah.
which escapes me.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah, it's very nice. Also, the ministerium has finalized plans for the National Day of Prayers, which this is in conjunction with the whole country. This is not something that's just specific to this area. And that is Thursday, May 3rd at the Fanwood Presbyterian Church at 7:30. And at the ministerial meeting, they also had a guest speaker, someone from Imagine. And this is a support group for children who have lost a parent. And if you find yourself in this situation and you need some help, they are located in Mountainside. So if you certainly are in need of their assistance, they are more than welcome to have you. Let me see what else.
Seniors?
The Municipal Alliance is sponsoring a talk at the high school on May 1st at 7 regarding vaping. If you have a child in the school system, I am sure you have been notified of this electronically. So hopefully there will be a good crowd there to learn more about this latest way that our children are endeavoring to either smoke or inhale drugs. So that should be a very informative meeting to anyone who has a child in the school system. The seniors, last week they had a speaker who spoke to them on solar energy, and not that most of these seniors would want to avail themselves of this, but to be careful because of all the phone calls that are going around trying to sell you solar energy, and just to, like the IRS calls, just to basically hang up on them. And I think that concludes my report.
Thank you very much.
A lot of meetings.
Councilman
So the Rec Commission met on March 27th. As most of you know, the Easter egg hunt was postponed for a little bit of snow. So it was the Saturday before Easter, right before Easter. It was a tremendous success. So all the children were happy, there weren't very many tears, everybody got an egg and everybody got a prize, which is after all our goal. So thanks to the Rec Commission and all the volunteers, including a bunch of student volunteers who came out to help, because the town and the families really do love the Easter egg hunt. So Forest Road, the fence around the skate park is in serious disrepair, thanks to it being well used. So they do have quotes. I don't know if they picked one, but they will be repairing and replacing the fence with hopefully something a little sturdier that is more skateboarder resistant.
Aaron, are they replacing the whole fence or just the sections that are patched in?
The whole fence.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
And they think they're gonna do that soon?
Yes.
And I think part of the idea is to put more poles in between the fences so that
Right.
it's harder to push it up, and I'm not quite sure how they're gonna stop them from pulling it down, but I suppose that's really not up to me, so. And there's a lot of talk about electrifying the pavilion in LeGrand Park, which would be exciting, but that's a work in progress at the moment. And
That was a weird segue from fence to that, just saying.
electrifying the fence.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to keep the skateboarders off. Okay, so that's not a good
I
plan.
thought there were intruders at the pavilion or something.
Okay, sorry.
And work is getting started on the next phase of the Forest Road Park renovation. The architect is doing the drawings, we just told him to start, so that's on its way.
I think there's a meeting tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
so
morning.
that should get on the way, and hopefully we'll get some of that done this year. Unfortunately, that could mean that we lose those tennis courts, we'll need to find another place for people to
Somebody
practice.
said that they were perfect tonight.
Yes, I
The
know,
tennis.
so I guess we'll have to look at that, okay.
Just saying.
And then the Rec Commission was awarded a $15,000 Union County grant for park improvements to meet the needs of children with special needs. The commission is currently brainstorming a little bit which equipment might be the best fit and to go into which park. So that's exciting. And the 5K is coming. We'll need some more volunteers for that. And then summer camp enrollment is still a go. I believe there are still spots open in the first week of the travel camp. The second and third week, I believe, are booked with waiting lists. And there is still room in the day camp at LeGrand Park. So please check the website. There's also lots of other summer programs that are available for registration on the website. It's a pretty useful website as far as all the information about what summer programs there are for kids in and around Fanwood. And so that's it for the Rec Commission.
Okay. Just a little updates from Liz Jeffrey, our redevelopment consultant. We know that Station Square at Fanwood, as you can see across from LeGrand Park, is well under construction, and the first building permit application was received and the framing is well underway. We know that Frank's Auto Body expansion, the overhead wire work had been removed so that they will be continuing work there. Our public plaza, which was completed several months ago, we are looking, I guess, to get our benches maybe by June, hopefully by June, with our benches, our planters, and our receptacles in the plaza, which will then help us go into our programming that we're going to do there. And as many of you know, the former Young's Paint property has been sold, and their new owners, Empire Properties, and their architects are working on a project concept drawing for a mixed-use project, and a site application will probably be filed relatively shortly. Lightbridge Academy, which is right next to the former Young Paint store, basically I think the grand opening is scheduled for April, I want to say. It looks really nice after being stalled for a while, so I think that's been really great. And we actually had a grand opening of Monk's Home Improvement, which took the final storefronts in the South Avenue Fanwood Crossing space, and that was held this past week, which I know a couple of our council representatives have gone, and the place is absolutely beautiful. And this Saturday, after we do Earth Day cleanup, we will then go over to Sheelan's Fish Market, who will have a ribbon cutting there at 11 o'clock. So a lot of good stuff happening. And our borough engineer is here tonight, so Antonius, if you want to give us an update on all the good stuff going on in town?
Thank you. Good evening. Just a quick update. Madison Avenue, the plans were submitted to DOT. We expect to have authorization to go out to bid within about a month from them, hopefully sooner, so that the project could be constructed in the summer. New Jersey American Water plans on paving North Avenue between Terrell Road and Martine Avenue. They were supposed to pave about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but with the weather and the 5K this past weekend, it had to get delayed for a few weeks. So I think this weekend they're going to start paving.
That's just that's not like.
This is just a temporary repair to allow for settling of the pipe that they installed recently. Elizabethtown Gas, they're working throughout town. Clint and I have been working together to come up with a road restoration plan that we need to present to the Public Works Committee for the borough's approval, and then present it to Elizabethtown Gas for their agreement to get the work done, and make sure that the roads are restored in accordance to the borough standards. The curb and sidewalk program, where we are installing new sidewalk on Terrell Road between Mary Lane and Patterson Avenue, and also on North Avenue between Midway and the Quick Check. They are going to be out there tomorrow, starting with that project. I've met with most of the residents. It was positive for probably 75% of the people who I spoke with.
Okay.
So I think that's a good thing. And it's about a 2-week project max. So Patterson Avenue, we're being authorized to do the design for that this evening. It's on tonight's agenda. We have survey scheduled for first week in May, and then we could start the design. I expect to take about a month, and hope to get the plans approved by DOT by late spring, so we could be in construction over the summer. That's Patterson Avenue, between, I'm sorry? Patterson Road, I'm sorry, between Terrell and Hunter. And that's my report.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else before we move on? Okay. Under the presentation of claims, Councilor?
Yes, Mayor, I move that we pay claims in the amount of $1,191,442.14, having been listed on the bill list and recorded in the files of the Borough Hall.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Tom Prince,
Yes.
Russell Yuko,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Erin Beckler,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Jack Mullenor.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Seeing that there's nothing under ordering of claims, I'd like to have a motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call forward any members of the audience that wish to come forward at this time to talk to us. Seeing that there isn't anyone that wishes to come forward, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the public for agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on, under old business, we have a second reading public hearings.
I call up for a second reading, ordinance number 1802R, and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance establishing the Borough of Fanwood Sewer Authority.
I move that a public hearing be held on said ordinance.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call forward any members of the public that wish to make a comment. Seeing that there isn't any, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And just as a line of explanation, we've talked about this several times in the last couple of months, but this ordinance establishes a sewer utility for us to take care of the business of making sure our sewers stay in good repair and maintained through the years.
Yes, I will just add to that, Councilman. With the help of our borough engineer, we also had an analysis report that was done about our aging system. And the town basically has clay pipes that could be anywhere from 80 to 90 years old. The system is made of mostly vitrified clay pipe, which can last up to 100 years if nothing goes wrong, but it's been, I guess, the experience of our professionals that the clay will crack and can collapse by virtue of being clay. We have about 170,000 feet of sewer mains and over 2,600 residential service connections and 70-plus commercial connections, and that's only going to grow as our development grows. Those mains were constructed between the 1930s and the 60s. So therefore, a lot of these pipes are reaching their expected lifespan. So, as the councilman has said, we have really sort of looked into this, we've discussed it, we've talked to our professionals to begin a long-term sewer investigation and improvement program. And we will be cleaning and videoing the pipes to determining the locations of where preventative care is most needed. And that's either by lining the pipes with non-destructive methods to prolong their life and make spot repairs as needed. So the cost for that preventative care will always outweigh if something in an emergency happens and we have to actually then replace any length of this. So I think that we also see what's happening in the streets with the water and the gas companies, and how across our town they are making investments into our infrastructure because of the conditions of a lot of these aged utilities. So it is with that vein that our conversations here started, as well as understanding that we've had, issues throughout the town that required ongoing maintenance. And so this is really prudent, I think, of the governing body to be moving in this direction.
I move that this ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, be published as required by law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
We're adopting it now. Tom Prince,
Yes.
Russell Yuko,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Erin Beckler,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Jack Mullenor.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Yes. Okay. Moving on, Councilman Krantz.
No. Oh, we have one thing on the consent agenda.
Yeah, we have one item on the consent agenda, right?
That's the shared service agreement with
So-
Union County.
Yeah, so I'll move Resolution 180483 for us to sign a shared service agreement with Union County for the pedestrian crosswalk signal at LeGrand and Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I just ask where the one for Midway is?
That's something that I think the chief is working with the county on, because the county didn't look at that one.
Yes, right.
Okay.
He did, I believe he did follow up in the last few weeks.
Oh, okay, it wasn't as part of the last update, where I thought that they gave us the proof, okay. Okay, just wondered, so we'll continue to
Yeah, we'll continue to follow up.
pursue
with
that,
them,
because
yeah.
that's as equally as important.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, so moving on, under new business, Councilman Kranz.
Thanks, Mayor. I move Resolution 180470. This authorizes us to decrease the performance and cash bonds for the construction work at Station Square. This is the project at Second and Grant, which is about 60% done, so we are thus allowed to reduce the amount of the performance bond.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Tom Krantz,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Aaron Eckert,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Jack Ballina,
Yes.
motion carried.
I move Resolution 180471. This returns a duplicate tax payment to the residents at 213 Burns Way.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Tom Krantz,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes, to return the money.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Aaron McElroy
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Jack Ballina,
Yes.
motion carried.
I move Resolution 180472. This authorizes us to extend our contract with Skarinsky and Hohenbeck. This is the legal firm that represents the fight essentially against the Pilgrim Pipeline. We are one of a number of towns that are in that, and this basically pays our portion.
Second.
Okay, may I have a roll call, please, for that?
Tom Krantz,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Aaron McElroy
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Jack Ballina,
Yes.
motion carried.
I move Resolution 180473. This is a temporary emergency appropriation to move money around to pay our bills until we get our budget passed.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Tom Krantz,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Aaron McElroy
Yes.
Jack Ballina,
Yes.
motion carried.
I move Resolution 180474. This awards a contract for $16,000+ to this architectural firm for doing a schematic design, which is part of the application for the library grant.
Second.
Would you second?
Yes.
Roll call.
Tom Krantz,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Aaron McElroy
Yes.
Jack Ballina,
Yes.
motion carried.
And finally, I call up for first reading. I'm sorry, I introduce ordinance number 1803R and request the title to be read by the clerk as soon as she finds it. Yes.
An ordinance of the Borough of Fanwood, County of Union, and State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 184 of the Fanwood Borough Code entitled Land Use to update provisions associated with affordable housing development fees.
I move that ordinance number 1803R be adopted on first reading, and if adopted, that the clerk advertise the ordinance as required by law, and that the second reading of said ordinance be held at a public hearing here at Borough Hall, 75 North Martin Avenue, Fanwood, New Jersey, on May 7th, 2018 at 7 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilman Carter.
Thank you. I move Resolution 18-04-75 to approve LoSAP for the fire department.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Tom Krantz,
Yes.
Aaron McElroy
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Jack Ballina,
Yes.
motion carried.
Councilman Mulligan.
A bunch, I have 5 resolutions, the first being, I move resolution 180476. This is to award a contract for the South Avenue redevelopment study to Phillips Price Greigel. This is for the area around the old A&P site, liquor store, in and around that area to look at it as a full redevelopment plan.
Second.
Okay. May I have a roll call, please?
Jack Mullenhour,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Tom France.
Yes.
Aaron Applewhite-Walker,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
motion carried.
We now move Resolution 180477, and this is to award a contract to Nigerian Associates to do an actual land survey, meets and bounds survey of our Public Works leaf drop-off and slash recycling center area, whatever we want to call that right now.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Jack Mullenhour,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Tom France.
Yes.
Aaron Applewhite-Walker,
Yes.
motion carried.
And now what goes with that is Resolution 180478, which is also awarded a contract to Nigerian Associates to look at that same property, the former recycling center, to do an environmental assessment of that property.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Jack Mullenhour,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Tom France,
Yes.
Aaron Applewhite-Walker,
Yes.
motion carried.
And next I have Resolution 180479, which is to award a contract to T&M Associates for design of Patterson Road.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Jack Mullenhour,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Tom France,
Yes.
Aaron Applewhite-Walker,
Yes.
motion carried.
Antonius, we're doing a full rebuild of that street?
Yeah, full reconstruction,
That's gonna happen all this year?
weather permitting.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, somebody lives here just asked me.
Yeah, well, the
That's what I
the
told
grant,
him,
just to put it out there, the grants from the DOT and the Union County grant that we expect hopefully to get are contingent to being used this year, so
Gotcha.
they need to be done this year. So
Okay.
that's why I've already scheduled survey and I'm trying to rush it as quickly as
No, cool.
possible.
I had somebody ask me and I kept my fingers crossed and I said yes this year. So.
What did we get from the state again for that?
195,000.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We voted on that, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure if I'm on to my next resolution.
We didn't vote on 80 yet.
Yes. Not 80,
Not
79.
80.
You
Do your last one.
I know, that's what I meant,
Oh,
79.
79 we did.
Okay,
79 passed.
thank you. You
I was keeping
score at home. I now move Resolution 1804-80 to T&M Associates to award a contract to do, provide sort of a master plan for the Fanwood Nature Center, which is going to include designing a boardwalk to look at landscaping for deer-resistant plantings, a lot of things.
Quite a few things.
It's
Quite a few
basically taking it
Yes.
like a Green Acres grant.
Yeah.
Oh, this is their Green
and
Acres
moving it
grant
forward.
project.
Yeah, this is basically
Have a
now
boardwalk and,
an elevated boardwalk.
Oh, not, it's right on top of the ground, it's not, I don't wanna call it elevated.
There'll be no rides,
Yeah.
no games?
Wait, how's the boardwalk gonna
no
look?
It's
gaming,
gonna sit-
no
Crappy
skee
food.
I
ball,
think it's
no
gonna sit
ski
right on the
ball.
ground.
Guess you wait.
They-
The whole path, or just
Well, that's
certain?
that's what's there now. It's
Yeah, there's a board
board right on,
right on the
just so
ground.
that you're not walking in mud,
Right, it's
pretty
to,
much.
No, wait.
yeah,
There's no boardwalk there, right?
there was.
No, there's a path that was with the wooden planks
Yeah,
there.
yes.
Yeah, but there used to be wood there.
There
Further
used to
back,
be one.
further back into the,
Ooh, way back when, there was
where
wood
they did
there.
like the little, where you
There
could watch
is
the
a boardwalk
birds.
on one area, like a path from
Right.
one bridge around to the other, but the rest of them is just path.
Right, this is
So we're gonna wood the whole path.
I don't know.
There's some restoration of existing path that's not needed, and then there's about 300 or 400 feet of new boardwalk that needs to be installed.
No bishop.
We'll be working with the Environmental Commission to make sure at the end of the day it's what
We'll make sure we provide what they need.
and the grant, make it all cohesive.
Yes.
That's the end of my resolutions. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We didn't vote on the 80.
We didn't vote on
We
it.
have a second for 80.
You need a second.
Second. I seconded
Second. Oh, you did, I didn't, who do I use?
Or, it doesn't matter.
I'm obviously not keeping score.
Jack
Um,
Mullenhour,
I'll show you.
Yes.
Aaron Applewhite-Walker,
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Russell Yuko.
Yes.
Tom Krantz.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Can you please send a copy of this T&M proposal to Eric
Yes.
Quallen, and
Me.
Kathy as the liaison,
Okay.
so that, and you probably should, keep a copy, maybe send it to our grant writer as well, just for their files, because I think they're the ones who are keeping track of everything.
Okay.
And Eleanor, if you could just copy me on it, just so they have my information.
Yes.
One of the items in there is to set up a kickoff meeting within a week, so I need to do that.
Okay.
All right, moving on, Councilwoman Parker?
Yep. I move resolution, 1804-81, to award a contract for the skateboard park fence replacement to Precision Fence Company.
Second.
May we have a roll call, please?
Erin Longoria Barker.
Yes.
Russell Yuko.
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Tom Krantz.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Jack Walner.
Yes, tonight, electrifying.
Motion carries.
Okay, and now moving resolution 18-04-82 to award a contract for gutter removal and replacement of gutters to Deegan Roofing in the Grandin Forest Road Park.
Second.
That's for both buildings?
Well, both buildings doesn't need it, but they do need a piece in the entrance over at Carroll Forest Road. The Grand Park needs desperately.
And, right, so they're cleaning both and
Yes.
fixing both. Okay, I thought that price was not bad. Okay. I had a second, may I have a roll call?
Erin McElroy Barker.
Yes.
Russell Yuko.
Yes.
Anthony Carter.
Yes.
Tom Krantz.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Jack Walner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Councilman Carter, you had one thing you wanted to circle back to?
Yes, if I can. So we held our public safety meeting tonight, and in attendance, myself, Councilwoman Mitchell, and Councilman Molinar. We had our Fanwood Police Chief, Richard Trigo, and from the rescue squad, Ed Windsor, the president. And a couple of points I'd like to speak on. First thing is, on behalf of the council and the town and our community and our borough, I'd like to offer congratulations to the rescue squad for their upholding their fiduciary responsibilities. And they've negotiated the sale of the old ambulance to Garwood for $8,000.
Nice.
Good job.
So the other thing they're also doing in the ambulance, they're installing self-funding and installing the new radio system in the ambulance. So they're going to do that entirely from rescue squad funds, and that will meet certain mandates. And just on that same vein with the radios, speaking with Chief Trigo about the radios, evidently the FCC is taking back some of the analog addresses, and in conjunction, Union County is offering a one-for-one offer to purchase the new digital radios, and we're discussing the acquisition of some of those radios at this point. So the final amount hasn't been determined yet. It's still in discussion. So it was a productive meeting, and the next meeting will take place in June. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call forward any members of the community. Seeing that there isn't any, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the public? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and that concludes our regular business, and we'll wind up with a few council comments. I'll start by Councilman Krantz.
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to urge everybody to come and join us this Saturday for Clean Communities Day. I just learned tonight it was, how many years have we been doing this now?
29.
29 consecutive years of cleaning up our town. 8:30 Saturday morning at the Southside train station. Come and get some gloves and a plastic bag and help us clean up. Thank you very much.
Councilman Carter?
Yes, I'd like to take the moment to once again congratulate our volunteers and our members of our fire department and rescue squad, and of course, police department, who, as mentioned earlier, were thrust into service and saving the life of one of our residents. I'd like to thank them again.
Councilwoman Mitchell?
Okay. I've been at that Clean Communities Day for 28 years. One of them I was away in Hawaii, and the other one I was recovering from surgery. So I'm out to keep my record.
I'll see you there.
Okay. Happy spring, everybody, and hope to see you in all the events around town. Don't forget Arbor Day, and see you around town.
We had a big rain event today, and it's caused a lot of problems with our transit infrastructure. It's actually, I've seen reports, it's taking people 2.5 hours to get from Newark to Westfield, just because of rain. So it shows what happens when you don't invest in your infrastructure. If you ignore it, it will go away. And that's kind of the theme tonight, looking at what we're doing with our sewers. We're choosing to invest and to plan ahead and not wait until it takes 2.5 hours to get rid of sewage in your house. So we haven't unclogged our transit system, and now it's a problem. We have to make sure that doesn't happen. So I think I'm proud of our council that we're taking a leadership role and not waiting for polls to tell us to do this or waiting for things to collapse like we've done with our transportation infrastructure. So with that, I'm a proud night to be a councilman. So thank you.
I just want to make note of an event that happened last week that was organized by Moms Demand Action on Guns, the Mayors Against Guns event. How many mayors were there?
16.
There were 16 mayors out of 21 in Union County signed a resolution against illegal guns. And I was in attendance along with quite a number of other people, and was really impressed by the young people and the motivation and the parents who were there and the moms who were there. It's a really great group that's committed to this and has been for many years. It was kind of inspiring to me as a mom. And so I guess what I just want to say is that it's important for us to stay motivated, to stay engaged, and keep this at the front of our minds so that we can make our communities and our schools safer for our kids. So, you know, check them out. Moms Demand Action. It's not just moms. There are teenagers, there are dads. There's a dad who helps to run it. And I think they're a great group who's really out to do good things to keep us and our families safe. So if you have time, check them out. They have events, I think, all over New Jersey throughout the year.
They actually hold their meetings in Haley.
And then there's that.
Well, I do read the polls, and the polls are telling me to go to Clean Communities Day on Saturday, so I will see you there.
All right. Well, it was another productive meeting here at the council level, and we want to thank everyone that came here today to receive a little recognition for all the hard work and the dedication that they do in and around our community. April leading into the spring is always a great time around town. We see a lot of people that we necessarily haven't seen all winter. A lot of great events that are going to be taking place at the train station. I think the Vintage Fair is coming up within the next 2 weeks. You know, a lot of activity in the downtown. Please make sure that you visit our stores, you know, shop and eat downtown, and if you know someone looking for a place to live, the housing market is very strong here in Fanwood, so come and join us. So with that, I'd like to have a motion to close the meeting and adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Good night.
Good night.